Okay, so we're looking at logarithmic functions. We're looking at the basic shape. Now this video is going to feel like, I guess it's going to feel a bit deja vu-ish because we looked at the basic shape of exponential functions before. Logarithmic functions aren't going to be much different. So let's just jump straight into it. The most basic of logarithmic functions would be y equals ln x, that is natural log x. And we're looking at it over here. So you can see that it's kind of like an exponential function, except the asymptote is along here. So it's got a vertical asymptote and it sort of disappears off over here. So if I was to sketch it, or at least draw a basic shape of it, it would look something like this. Okay, so an asymptote here, and then disappearing off this direction. Now it passes through here at 1, 0. So all of this should seem very familiar. It looks very much like the exponential stuff that we've looked at previously. Just a quick look at what that looked like. So you can see here was our basic shape. It had an asymptote here. It passed through 0, 1, and it headed up there. Contrasting that with what we're looking at now. Okay, so this is ln x here. You can see that it's got an asymptote, a vertical asymptote this time rather than a horizontal asymptote, passing through 1, 0, not 0, 1, and heading off in this direction, not upwards, but sort of sideways. Okay, just get rid of that mess. So that's y equals ln x. Let's look at some other basic shapes so we get an idea of what we've got. Now this next one is going to be y equals negative ln x. Okay, so it's the same as our first one, but it's a mirror image in the x-axis. So it's been flipped in the x-axis. So it's going to have the same intercept there at 1, 0. It's going to have an asymptote here, this time in the positive direction, still at x equals 0, and then it's going to disappear off in this direction. So that's negative ln x. Moving along, let's take a look at y equals ln negative x. Okay, so there's our basic one. That's y equals ln x. Okay, and there's y equals ln negative x. You can see this time it's been reflected in the y-axis. So our x-intercept's going to change. Our asymptote's still the same. Heads off in this direction like that. And this time it's got an intercept of negative 1, 0. Okay, now from these three, you should be able to figure out what the fourth basic shape is. It's going to be y equals negative ln negative x. And basically it's going to be a mirror of this one. So it's mirrored in both the x and the y-axis. Okay, so we've got our x-intercept there. We've got an asymptote. All of these have asymptotes that are the same at x equals 0. It's heading, let's just get rid of that so we can see it more clearly. This time it's got the asymptote there, comes down. Oh, that's terrible. Let's try that again. Asymptote, moving down, and there. And this point here is negative 1, 0. Okay, so there's our logarithmic functions, our four basic shapes. If you learn this one and then you realize that the negative out the front will flip it in the x-axis, and then the negative in front of the x will flip it in the y-axis, and then both negatives will flip it in both axes, you should be able to learn it from here and then derive the other three from basic principles. Okay, that's logarithmic functions basic shapes. In the next one, we're going to look at sketching a logarithmic function. Don't be scared though, the process is pretty much the same as the exponential functions.